So hello everyone, thank you for coming. My name is Perez, as Carmen said. First of all, thank you to Milestone for having us here today. To kick off, I want to do a couple of questions to see what's the audience first. I want to know how many of you have heard before of Clarity AI? Oh, and more than one I expected. And second, how many of you are familiar with RAG systems in LLMs? Okay, cool. As Carmen was saying, I'm Diego Perez. I'm lead machine learning engineer at Clarity AI. I'm leading the efforts in generative AI, or everything that has to do with customer-facing generative AI. So we are I'm going to be technical, but first, as many of you don't know anything about Clarity, I think it's interesting to have a little bit of context on what Clarity is and what we do to understand what technical challenges are we solving. Then very quickly, what do we do with AI at Clarity AI? And then we are going to go technical with the generative AI deep dive. So first, intro to Clarity AI. We are a sustainability tech startup or maybe scale up already. We are 300 people with offices in Madrid, New York, London, Paris, Dubai. Pretty much people all around the globe. Remote first company with, I think I said it, more than 300 employees. And what we do is basically sustainability tech for all segments. First, we started with investors, and we want to get the societal point of view to the investment markets, to investors. That means funds, any asset manager will have to, will be able to see another framework beyond financial framework to understand how the companies are behaving on the societal point of view. Then also for companies, and even lately launching for customers and users, so you would be able to see the carbon footprint of whatever you're buying, and so on and so forth. So that's about Clarity. And we are going to be talking about generative AI today, but we do a lot more of AI. So first, I will start with, we have like this division, Quant, NLP, and then Gen AI. On Quant, we do kind of classical machine learning with reliability models. In the sustainability business, as you can understand, the data is very spread out because everything are estimations. Even though when you see these are that many tons of CO2 one company is emitting, we have many providers, and there are orders of magnitude, even difference between one provider and the other. So we have the reliability models to get the most reliable data. We have estimation models. Whenever the data is not there, we go and estimate and causal inference. On the NLP side, we've been doing NLP for 7 years already, so we are not new with this wave of LLMs. And we do use, and we were using LLMs well before OpenAI kicked off, or was mainstream. We do quant metric extraction. That means we get PDFs, reports from companies that are publicly available, and with LLMs we extract data from there, like tons of CO2 that the company is emitting. We do corporate sustainability report parsing and also news engine. And more importantly, on the Gen AI side, we use generative LLMs to leverage all the data that we have extracted with LLMs, with data providers, with our news engines, and we use this as an interface to interact with all the Clarity knowledge. So very quickly, this is what I meant when I was saying extracting data with LLMs. You have a report, we go there, and using NLP, we are able to extract and even get the bounding boxes or where the data or the evidence was found. On the other side, on LLMs, we have been using BERT models for long, LLMs to detect whether a company is committing to a policy or not, and also to detect how the news are talking about a company, meaning like if Volkswagen Dieselgate or Facebook Cambridge Analytica, whenever the news came up, we are able to detect this in real time and assign a severity to this controversy, and the end users will see this. And going to the generative AI, I guess we were trying to improve the workflow. The idea is that we have many different clients, a wide variety of end users that can go from investors to end user. So we were planning to have this kind of everything interface to access all of the Clarity's knowledge. And this will will enable us to clarify the concepts, interpret data, condense information, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go directly to a brief intro to RAG systems for those of you that are not familiar with what a RAG system means. We are talking about LLMs. An LLM is a large language model. More precisely, we are talking about generative LLMs, not encoders. And these kind of ChatGPT style models have mainly two problems, right? The first one is hallucinations. They make up information as if it was true, but it is untrue. And the second one is timeliness, right? Because the model was trained on February 2023 or September or whenever. So we want to have information up to date, and we want to have factual information. So a RAG system, this is something I got from Deep Learning AI to get you an overview, but this is what a RAG system means. RAG system is you have the private knowledge base, so all the knowledge from a company, in this case Clarity AI's knowledge. What we do is put this knowledge into a way that the LLM can consume it, and this means for the unstructured data, we are using an embedding vector database, and for the structured data, we are using APIs to access the data, right? So we are giving this piece to the LLM. So we have this embedding model, we store all the information in a vector database, and then we feed this into LLM, right? So as you can see here, the first step is you have all the information, you split it, you put it machine readable and ready for LLMs. And you do all this splitting and store this information so we can retrieve that, right? And then whenever a user enters a query or chats with the chatbot, we go to this storage and we retrieve the most relevant pieces of information that are relevant to the query, and we feed that to the LLM to answer the query, right? Just to give you a little bit of the problems that this can bring, and it's not as easy as it seems. It's like, for example, if you have this retrieval, and it's a random example that you are going to retrieve information about a mushroom when you are doing a recipe, and if you ask this question and you get the most similar ones, you would get these two pieces, but you are leaving behind the one that is saying that is poisonous, right? So you want to ensure that not only the relevant information that are similar to the query, but you want to maximize the entropy, so you make sure that the information that you need is there. So with that, we've built a generative AI platform that is able to give support to all of the Clarity AI's generative AI use cases, and it's not only the chatbot, but also automatic report generation, right? So for example, client needs to fill up a usual report to comply with some legislation, so we do this automatically with LLMs, right? And what we've built very high level is we have this assistant or orchestrator engine that is able to determine which is the appropriate agent to call, and it's kind of a mixture of experts. So we get the external input to the orchestrator, and it will decide where to go, right? And this is this has three main advantages for us, and is specialization. First of all, we can define pretty well experts that can be fine-tuned for specific domain. What an expert mean? An expert is basically a combination of a LLM, specific prompt, specific set of tools and documents that it can to retrieve the information. This gives us flexibility to integrate new experts and scale up horizontally with more and more experts. And it's scalable by definition, right? So this is how it looks like more in depth. And the flow goes as follows, right? So a user go to the Clarity web app, and we will see it in just a moment in live demo. We have an API, and we have this assistant manager or the orchestrator, which basically is not deciding which expert to call. What it's doing is polymorphism. It understands which is the more suitable skin that he has to put on, and it will go and play the role of an ESG risk expert, climate, and so on and so forth. We have many experts, and we have split it in generation experts, and it's this is kind of if you were expert in ESG risk, so ESG means environmental, social, and governance in the sustainability business. So we have like well-defined as if you were talking to an expert that will fit your needs. We have the unstructured piece that was the RAG that I was showing you before, and then the retrieval experts that are the structure for the RAG. And what we are doing is we get the query, we decide which expert to pick or play the role, we do the planning of the query, and then get the information needed and build up the answer. And this is the more in-depth flow of the whole system. And as I was saying, first the query, and there is something important that I haven't mentioned before, and is the guardrails. And this means if you are trying to fool us to, playing like you are an expert in, telling the LLM you are an expert in Y or Z, and get information that is out of your zone, right? So if you can access this kind of information within the Clarity AI platform, we have these guardrails to, if it's not compliant, go directly to the end, and if it's compliant, we go to a query rewriter. And with that, what this does is, usually as users we are lazy, right? So we quickly write a query, and we don't want to be very specific. So what we are doing is learning from all the queries and understand what the user wants when the query is really lazy, and we rewrite this query to pick the expert. Then we do the polymorphism, we put the hat of the expert, and go to a query planner. That what it's doing is planning all the tasks that it has to do to answer the question. I may have to go to a document, retrieve the information from this PDF that I was talking before, and I might have to go to a internal endpoint to retrieve data. So we do all of this in a loop and go to monitoring, and then when we have all the information needed, we go to the response generator. And with that, I will show you this in live because we are kind of running out of time. So hopefully you see, okay, this is Clarity platform in production, and this is kind of what we've done. And this is doing everything that I just showed you under the scene. First, very silly question. What's doing under the scenes is understanding what's the user, what the user want, and then plan the query. And with that, the task that it has to do is go to the endpoint that is giving you the overall score, that is the one that you can see like right here, right? And this is not really useful, but you can go to a specific company and say, is the company this one? So for this, we have to go and I put this query deliberately because it's a complex one. We have to go to the annual report. We have to go to the report that is publicly available in this company's webpage, and we have to go to Clarity's API to get the data. And what it's doing is answering you After retrieving the data from the company publicly available report, that you can just go here and it will download it for you. So you can go check the information that we just mentioned there. And also, with the Clarity's API to get this data, and also, this one I just made up. Probably, I don't know if it will work or not. But basically, it's going to the, as I was showing here, what's doing is understanding the query, is under the policies. We rewrite the query, we go to the polymorphism, understand that is the ESG risk or the climate expert that has to, the one that has to understand. We, in this planner, go to the vector database with all the documents split already, and retrieve the information and go to the end user. And with that, do you have any questions? I guess we are on time, right?
No, great.
Cool.